Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is 3-Chord Dave and today I'm going to tell you about a brand new signature model from Epiphone for Joe Bonamassa. Yes folks, so I'm going to tell you all about the brand new signature for Joe Bonamassa in just a few moments, but I got a couple of bits of news for you that I'd like to tell you about first. So the first one is, look how close we are to 4,000 subscribers. In fact, by the time you're watching this, there might be 3,999. So you could be that 4,000 subscriber if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet. So please do that, hit subscribe, hit the like button and the bell, and then choose all notifications, because then YouTube's like, hey, let's show this channel to more people. We get like a bigger audience, and then people will give me guitars that I can give away to you for free. Anyway, moving on. So something I've decided to do, because I'm going to hit 4,000 in the next couple of days, is we're going to do some live streaming. So September the 25th is the day we will do our very first live stream on this channel. 3-Chord Dave live for at least an hour on September the 25th. Now I need you guys to show up for me, so if you're available, that would be super cool. We'll chat about guitars, we'll chat about music, we'll chat about whatever you guys want to chat about. Ask any questions like, you know, how long is my beard, or whatever it is that you're curious about. And also a very small, not a big, but a small giveaway will happen during that live stream as well. So make sure you mark it in your calendars. September 25th, 3-Chord Dave live on YouTube, and I'll give you times and all that sort of stuff a little bit closer to the date. Now, let's talk about Joe Bonamassa. So I want to say a big thank you to Brian, who yesterday put a comment on one of my recent YouTube videos to tell me that Joe Bonamassa had confirmed a brand new signature model from Epiphone on his Instagram page. So I darted over to Instagram, checked out Joe Bonamassa's page, and it was true, because he had this picture and he said that his guitar, Lazarus, was on his way to LA to take part in a video shoot, which is happening today, probably right now as I record this. Joe Bonamassa is looking at a camera somewhere going, this is Lazarus, let me tell you all about it. I'm going to steal your thunder a bit there, Joe, so sorry about that. Lazarus, if you don't follow Joe Bonamassa closely, you might not know how Lazarus came to be called Lazarus and what it was. So Joe Bonamassa goes on these guitar safaris every now and then, where he we'll go to a guitar shop randomly somewhere, you know, when he's out and about on his tours and stuff, and he'll usually walk away with 4 or 5 guitars, and that is the coolest thing ever, and I want to do it too. Anyway, so Joe, in about November 2019, introduced us to Lazarus, or what he was calling, I think, the Red Redemption guitar at one point. He posted on his Instagram, and it was a candy apple red, as you can see here. Now, Candy Apple Red Les Paul Standard 1959 doesn't sound right, and we'll get into that in a moment. So the person he bought it from apparently says that the guitar was in the same family since 1963. They bought it from the original owner, and it was the original owner who decided Candy Apple Red was the color he wanted his Les Paul. Well, let's just take a moment to realize people didn't know back in the day, back in 1963, for example, that the 1959 Les Paul was a collector's item that would be worth hundreds of thousands of pounds, euros and dollars, like we do today. So even though this started off life as a burst Les Paul, one of the most desirable guitars in the world, and most valuable guitars in the world these days, it was just a regular guitar back then. People were like, yeah, whatever, it's a guitar. And so the original owner decided to have this refinished in Candy Apple Red, which is a great color. But Les Pauls didn't really come in Candy Apple Red, at least not until, it was probably the 80s when they started to come in Candy Apple Red. So yeah, it was kind of, they made it a more unusual and unique looking Les Paul for the time. And then it was sold to the owners that then sold it to Joe Bonamassa all those years later. So when Joe got the guitar, he put it on Instagram, he asked people, what is it? And they said, some people said it's a Les Paul Studio. Some people said it's a, you know, just a Les Paul Standard from whenever. And some people correctly recognized that it was a 1959 that had been refinished for some reason. And that's what it is. So Joe gave it to Neely Guitars in Los Angeles, and they gave it to Historic Makeovers, who did all this fine work, turning it from Candy Apple Red to this beautiful thing right here. And Joe Bonamassa has of course played this on some of his more recent records and on his live shows, and that's because it's a beautiful guitar. He says that it is 99% original, just the poker chip and the switch tip have been changed. Everything else is original. They were able to salvage it and clean them up and have it almost as good as new, which is a really cool thing to hear. Now you can see here the before and after pictures show the difference that was made to the guitar by this restoration. Looks amazing. And let me tell you, no easy job. It's not a case of just stripping the paint off and finishing it differently. Very, very skilled work there. Very cool that they were able to get it looking so amazing, to be quite honest with you. And this is a 1959 guitar. It's a Les Paul Burst. It's worth significantly more probably than it would have been as a Candy Apple Red Les Paul from 1959. So things are weird in the guitar world. So how do we know though that Joe Bonamassa is having anything to do with Epiphone again? And how do we know that this guitar is going to be released as an Epiphone signature model? Well, yesterday on Instagram when he posted this and that it was going to LA, somebody called Hegel Exercise asked, are we getting a signature based on Lazarus? And Joe Bonamassa said, yes. He said, yes, new Epiphone is based on Lazarus. So we know that it's happening. We know they're going out to LA to film a video about it. Usually that means they're doing all the promo work and everything like that. And I am going to throw out a date there. I think it's going to be end of October / beginning of November when these become available. It could be a lot sooner, and it could also be next year sometime. But it is kind of known that Fender have some pretty cool stuff coming down the pipe in the next month or so. So maybe this is Gibson / Epiphone's way of counteracting that and thinking like, yeah, but Joe Bonamassa, and it has been about 3.5 weeks since he had a signature model available in stores. So it's unusual because Joe Bonamassa gets almost as many signature models as Slash does. So a bit unusual that he hasn't had one this year yet. But here we go. In terms of what to expect, looking at his 59 Black Beauty, which is a beautiful guitar that came out last year, has 3 humbuckers in it. They're all Pro Bookers, 2 Pro Booker 2s and a Pro Booker 3. I predict we'll get a Pro Booker 2 and 3 in this Lazarus version. I think obviously we're going to get CTS pots and orange drop capacitors. We're going to get Switchcraft switches and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be in a black case probably with Epiphone emblazoned on the side, maybe a brown case with Epiphone emblazoned on the side. And then you will also get 2 versions. You'll have the standard version, just looks like a regular guitar, and then you'll have the Joe Bonamassa signature on the fretboard version, which, you know, he does all the time because he had, I don't know, an ego or something. But either way, they will be cool. And also just bear in mind, those 58 Black Beauties are now selling for almost 3 times their recommended retail price. Recommended retail was $7.99 on those. I think that's what we're going to see again on the Lazarus Les Paul from Epiphone. And we are, if you look up on Reverb, for example, I love Reverb, it is something that you're gonna pay somewhere between $1,200 to $2,000 for, depending on the seller and so forth. So Joe Bonamassa guitars, they always sell out very quickly. They always do really well on the secondhand market. They're pretty much instantly collectible. And I know he does have a big hand in how they are designed and produced and everything else. So don't be surprised to see something from Gibson / Epiphone about it soon, especially if Joe has already mentioned it publicly. So don't be surprised if we see something very, very soon about this guitar officially. But we know it's coming now and we can only guess when it's going to be. So I'd love to know your thoughts on this guitar. It's another Joe Bonamassa signature, very different from the last one. Still has another Les Paul though, so you know, that's cool. And it is from Epiphone, so we can expect it in the $700 to $899, $799, $899 price range. So what do you think? Are you going to pick one up? Do you think it's a cool guitar? I certainly think the story behind it and everything else makes it a pretty cool guitar to do a signature model on. And I just think Joe Bonamassa is kind of cool, and I wish I had his guitar collection. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to mark September 25th as the day to leave an hour free for 3-Chord Dave Live. And there will be a giveaway. Don't forget about that. Hit subscribe, hit like, do the bell and the notifications thing. Thanks for joining me, and I'll be back again soon. Take care.